How are you at the moment? Have you managed to kind of get into a daily routine with everything that's going on?
Well, it depends, but not really. It's more like we try to work with the band, so it's part of the routine, I guess. For several members, we try to be invested in some social organization, association to try to give some free times because we have some free times to work with social association Utopia 56 in France that works with refugees in Paris and in north of France, and so I guess this is part of the routine for several members of the band. I know I try to get up early in the morning because I am afraid to just start a day at 2 p.m. or something like that, but it's I like to wake up early and read and play video games and play music and try to help associations and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess this is kind of the routine.
How long have you been involved with the associations?
Well, it depends on the members, but we know them since January 2019, so it's almost 2 years now, and we invited them to some show in France where we gave them like a merch money or something like a kind of system of donation or something like that. But yeah, sometimes recently, since there is no more concert, we go on the street with them, I guess. But it's to to help um, people to find home or something like that for a night or something like that to just
Is that quite a big problem facing France at the moment?
well, I guess it is. Yeah, it is a big problem because there's things are getting worse with the police and the the politics in Paris. Yeah, it's getting worse. But we are not. We are volunteer in this, and we try to do it when we are down. But we are not very I don't know how to say up to date with the things. We just offer some help when we can, a night or one day or something like that. And it's getting worse, and with the virus, it's getting more. People getting could get more suspicious, but there is a pretty nice thing that this association Utopia 56 is getting more and more volunteer in France, in Paris. So that is pretty nice. We see many people that come to offer helps and something like that. In the beginning of the year, there wasn't this amount of volunteers, so I guess people just try to use their time to help others. So I mean, this is pretty good, I think, to see that more people are getting invested in such a operation, I guess.
Is part of that, do you think, with the pandemic, have people maybe reassessed their lives a little bit and realised they're not helping enough? Or why do you think more people are kind of getting involved now?
Yeah, because I mean, with the lockdown, it was maybe something that the people who doesn't have homes or homeless people or refugees doesn't have a place to go to be locked down. So I mean, some people could have okay, me, I can go into my room or in my apartment, but what about the people who are out there who are threatened by this virus and who can't do anything? So I mean, maybe people just get curious or feel concerned by their situation because there is more and more people in the subway, in the metro. I mean, who ask for helps, and you can't deny it. I mean, you can't just it's part of the reality of everybody who take the subway or the metro in Paris. So I mean, maybe people just get tired of this situation and try to find solution themselves or with association like Utopia. So yeah, I guess the virus gets thing worse, but people in get get ready to offer solutions or something like that. I don't know. So yeah.
Is that what inspired you to make the music video? Was it for closure when you're on the subway?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a video we had since the beginning of the year. We worked with a French videast, filmmaker, Clara Margera, and she took that video in the subway, and she tried to put our song Closure on it, and it was like the perfect timing. And yeah, we wanted to share this because it's it had a lot of sense to us to share this point of view. I mean, or to just try to show something that it's not usually showed in video clip or in. We try to avoid the clip format for this video, and not to do a promotional thing about it, but just like it's just a kind of a testimony of what we can see when we just want to take 3 steps in in the subway, and what we have to deal with, and what people maybe have to are living, I guess. And yeah, it was kind of important for us to try to be politically active. I don't know if it's right, but to have a position to beginning of building a position about how we stand in this world, and we not just want to use our music to promote ourselves and our ego or individuality, or just the music itself, but more like the context where we are and where we create, I guess. So what we are influenced by, and this scene is something that is really influenced the 4 of us, because it's an abnormal, I guess, to be in front of so many people asking for help, and we just have anything else to say then I'm sorry. So we want to avoid this and try to find some time and to enlighten this kind of situation. I don't know, it's a test. It was a test to share these images, but
It gives the song a new meaning as well, though. Like you take what was kind of
yeah,
an
sure.
intensely personal song and you contrast it with this political thing, and it's interesting how, I mean, some of the lyrics kind of match up and stuff as well.
Yeah, yeah, as I said, it took a lot of sense when we saw these images, where when we discovered the video, we were like, okay, I don't know if I like it, I don't know, I'm shocked, I don't know, or what. We weren't all sure about this, and this is why it was important to share it, because we wanted to just try to share something about this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it completely captures the kind of emotion of that scene. Like
Yeah.
when you're when you be in the view of the person, there's someone coming up to ask you for money. It kind of completely puts you in those shoes. And
Yeah. Yeah.
is making music a comfortable process? Because that video kind of plays with some emotions that are pushing you in different directions.
Well, it can be, and I guess it is, because it is something we do for many years now, and so we have like our safe space, I guess, when we are just creating music, and or just jamming, or just try to get stuff out of us through music. But it is something we try to avoid the comfortable thing, because we think that it is important to get out of this comfort zone and try new stuff, or just try to show things that we are not comfortable with, and try to make our situation, which is kind of pretty comfortable, because we have the social helps, because we have plenty of time around in here in France. And we guess we want to try to continue the music and continue all of this, but also try not to be satisfied with discomfort, and just often try to reach new things, and to get ourselves into, I would say danger, but more like uncomfortable places, and when we can really discover new things, and new emotions, and new things about others and ourselves, I guess. Because it could be like, in here we have our studio, we have our apartments, and we could like just chill at home and just do our music, and just get and we want to try not to use the status of artist and musician to be comfortable, but more like it is a responsibility for us to have this situation, and try to make it I don't know, to try to share with people, to really share things, and not be be too yeah, not be too comfortable about it.
You mentioned there, during the process of it, by taking yourself out of your comfort zone, you can discover new things about yourself. What
Yeah.
what sort of things did you discover about yourselves making this record?
I guess while we made this record, it was between two tours, and it was a time where it was 3 years that we were the four of us kind of always together and uh, and uh, and working together. So I guess in this album, it was kind of linked to the intimacy of in between the four of us. I don't know how to say. It was more like we tried to get out of our comfort zone, but more in the live experience. The studio was more a discovery. I mean, the studio was a discovery. It's because we don't have uh, so many time in studio, so it was. We weren't in our comfort zone in the studio, and we discovered I don't know, things about uh, how we how we deal with intimacy with the four of us, how we can make decision with the four of us, because we try to have a democratic band. Like we try to be as more as possible open to the feeling of the others, and not to just impose decisions on someone. And we learned a lot about ourselves by opening to the four of us. It was during the period of the album we tried really to get. We were really intimate and yeah, I don't know if it answered the question, but it's yeah, during the album we weren't really open to outside. I guess we were more like the four of us working on an album together, and try to discover things about ourselves during this process, and with the richness and complexity of the relationship it is. That's what is to have a band like we think it should be.
Can there be a tension that comes from being that close and intimate with each other?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, I guess every relationship it could be tension, but we try to communicate a lot about how we feel, and since this is our kind of material to build songs and music, the way we feel, we try to be the more honest and the more open to other people. So I mean, getting out of our comfort zone was building this relationship, and try to be not too ego, and not too and not just and try to, yeah, to discover ourselves in this process.
Is it easier to discover new things about yourself when it's a democratic process, like you're saying, kind of everyone's voice is being heard?
Yeah, I don't have many experience of other relationship in band, but I mean it is really nice because we can feel how every member care about the feeling of each members. So it's like if there is something that isn't working for one of us, we try to find a solution for it's how we can change it. And I mean, in this process, it was a lot of communication, discussion, tension sometimes, and since we were in a touring, since we went touring in France, and we were a lot together, it was important for us to be, I don't know, the more open to communication. And I guess we learned a lot about listening to others. I've learned a lot about listening to others. I've learned a lot about trying to express myself, not disappointing each other. I don't know, and try to. Yeah, it was first learning about myself and the others to build other relationships after the band.
How does the way you communicate develop and evolve over the course of making an album together? Does it change a lot, or is that something that's a constant throughout?
Well, I mean, it's changed a lot, and it's changed since too, because the album was recorded in 2018, and we released it in France first, and then we had this opportunity with Fat Cat during last year, so we released it again a year after. But the album is quite old, I guess, and we've learned a lot since this time. But at when we recorded it, it changed. It changed because we try to be as more the more respectful of ideas of others, and not to find one common idea and to impose them to everybody. I don't know. It's a lot of work to communication, to have something that we can, the four of us, defend, and it changed because in this year changed many things, and there were many doubts about continue music or don't, or it was pretty difficult to stay in the music process, and we try to talk a lot about this and a lot about how we're feeling in this world, and how music could have a meaning here, and yeah, which I mean, it changed because we changed, and it's more like always try to listen to each other, and sometimes we realize that we weren't really capable of listening, and we tried to be more capable of listening. I guess this is what changed a lot.
You were saying there as well about how you originally released this a year ago in France, and now you're releasing it
Yeah,
again worldwide.
yeah, yeah.
Has what the album means to you changed in that time?
I guess what is weird is that we toured with this, playing the song of the album since 2-3 years, and now we are kind of getting tired of some of the songs. We try to work on new stuff, so it doesn't change because the songs are we just wanted it to go as far as it could be, like to touch more people we could with this album. So we are very happy that it could be released worldwide, but the meaning didn't change for us of this album. Is more like musically we want to try to go somewhere else, and with other influences, other instruments, other maybe other members someday, I don't know, but still it's a period of our life that we are kind of very happy to have lived or to have experienced. So it's more like a testimony of this period for the four of us. So we are very happy that it could be released worldwide, and but I don't know if there is a tour in next year. I'm not sure that we'll be playing the songs of this album, and this is what changed because last year we released it, and we were in the middle of a tour where we were really experimenting the kind of all the songs in lives, and this were really coherent at this time. That's now it's more like, okay, it was something we wrote 2 years ago. We experienced it in live, and we are happy it can be released, but we want to move on something new now.
Did you perform a lot of these songs live before you recorded them, like on a stage as opposed to just in a room together?
Few of them, not all of them, but few of them, yeah, we experienced in live, because live we try to do this because in live there is a kind of confrontation between the song and the people and ourselves, and we kind of have a really perspective on the song, and it is a step for the composition of the song, I guess, to try it on live and to see how we feel, how the people feel, how, and so we can change some parts of the song or some things. And we played a lot isolation. We played a lot. We played a few times every site too. We played coherent also some songs in it, yeah. But there was also songs that were composed in the studio too, or just before going to the studio. So it was half experienced in live and half brand new for the studio.
How long were you in the studio for the actual, recording process of the record?
Where we've been 3 weeks in a tiny house in center of France, And this wasn't the real studio, but it was where we composed most of the songs. And there were, after this, 10 days in a studio in France named Vega Studio. It was really, really nice. So we had 10 days with to record it.
How did the atmosphere in the house for those 3 weeks compare to the atmosphere in the studio for those 10 days?
It was really different. In the house, we were out. We were just feeling the pressure we could create for our ambition. I mean, it was no really financial issues and stuff like that. So it was more like we really wanted to make something that we can defend and enjoy. So we were like working all the time, and it was really a small house, and so when someone played music, everyone else could hear it, and sometimes people get up in the middle of the night to do music, so the others couldn't sleep, or sometimes it was really we spoke about tension before, and it was a place where tension could grow up. And then when we were in the studio, it was more like it was the first time we worked with a label in France. We worked with a Vicious Circle label. It was the first time that someone else just rent the studio for us and proposed to have vinyls and stuff like that. So we really wanted it to be the greatest we could. So it was this kind of pressure, but it was, I guess, a good pressure because it was something to go beyond our limits, something like that. But it was very different. And in the house we were just the four of us, and we have also two friends who are here. But in the studio we have an engineer, a sound engineer with us. So it was different, but it was also pretty nice, I guess.
I guess that kind of tension and pressure in the atmosphere can feed into the intensity of the
Oh
album.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, sure. We're trying to use this kind of emotion to put it in our song, and we were the four of us kind of aligned to this feeling. So it wasn't really tension. It was more like we wanted it to be real nice. So we put a lot of pressure of each other, but because we have a lot of expectation from each other, and a lot of like, expectation, and a lot of we have this kind of trust, but sometimes it gets overpassed by the expectation we can have. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, there's a tension and a pressure, but everyone understands it's all for the good of creating this great record. It kind of, it's easier to handle. Everyone knows it's nothing personal. It's all in the name of creativity.
Yeah, sure. It's more like there was something pressuring us. There still is something pressuring us now, and I don't know if we could name it, but we have this sensation of anxiety and pressure, and just try to find a place to just exteriorize it, to express it. I mean, to really, really express this emotion, and we try to don't put this emotion on the four of us, but more into the songs and into the album, and to just get the rid of this emotion, or to use it.
How much sleep were you getting a night then when you were in that cottage of people are up, performing and messing around on instruments and creating?
It depends of the members. Some members like to sleep 12 hours by night. Some others like to sleep 3 hours by night, and we try to not I don't know, to not impose this kind of rhythm for each other, and more like everyone can have a space where he could sleep or where he could work during the night or during the day and stuff like that. But when we were in the small house, we didn't have uh, physically the space to do this kind of stuff. So it was complicated sometimes, but most of the time it was work of the day, and the night was mostly sleeping.
Did you have any vivid dreams during the recording process? I'm kind of thinking of the
Oh
opening
yeah,
song. Yeah.
yeah. I guess I know that we kind of each of us we try to. I know I kind of try to note a lot of what the dreams I could have, especially in this period. But right now, I'm not sure I'm remembering one or in particular, but we are very influenced by this kind of process. Yeah, we try to get influenced by the sensation of or when we wake up or the dream we could have in during the night, and I guess it's part of the process, but it's not maybe intentionally. It's more like sometimes we wake up and there is this kind of strange emotion that won't go away. This is linked to something I lived in my dreams, and the only way to let it out is to take an instrument and to play music. Sometimes it was something we discovered with the music and with this band. It's like sometimes there are emotions we can't really name or we can't really explain. Just as we just let it out, and if we had a uh, I don't know, a great night and great dreams, sometimes we are not really uh, happy to play anxious songs and stressed songs, and sometimes there are other people that other members that are shitty night and just want to let it out and just to scream in a microphone for 1 hour and something like that. And so we kind of try to make it all work, and have some parts in the song where we can let all the emotion go away, even if it's kind of good or bad emotion. I don't know.
Is it more powerful when you can't explain where the emotion's coming from? Like what you were saying there with you might just wake up with a feeling from that's happened in your dreams.
I guess it depends on the people. I know that I kind of I try to work on this part of the emotion, like to know where and why I feel this. Sometimes I try to understand this, but I know I can't. But it's more like to explain to myself and to understand why I am feeling this way or another. And I guess it is something that I like because I could go back to one emotion or go back to one other emotion. It's sometimes I think it is more like a work of a comedian or something like that, to know to be able to uh, interpret to play a role that is supposed to feel this way and to feel really this way. I don't know what to say, and to try to have a perspective on each emotion and to be able to access them. It is I know personally that is a work I try to do, to be able to jump between emotions, but sometimes it's more illusion than reality.
I mean, when it comes to the honesty of the emotions, I remember reading, I think you'd said that you specifically left room for mistakes to occur during the process, which I guess when that happens, that's going to produce a completely honest emotion because it's unintentional. Why did you leave space for those mistakes, and how did you feel it kind of contributes to the finished piece of what we hear now?
Well, I mean, it is something we like because we want to see a kind of humble way to deal with this emotion. It's not trying to control them all the time. I don't know what to say, but more to left a space where it could happen, and it's not prepared, because I mean sometimes it's the place, it's the time when it's the most interesting. It's when we were it's a mistake, there is a mistake somewhere, and the result of this mistake in the larger songs or in the context is it's making something new and something rich that is out of the code that we kind of used to build with. I don't know how to say in and we try to make our mistakes our strength. Oh wow, sorry for my accent. But it's more like, yeah, it is important to be able to mistake, and it's part of what we want to express, and to leave a room or a space for this improvisation or incidents, or just yeah, mistake. It's something that is very important, because it's, I mean, I think really rich if we accept it if we accept it for the four of us. We try to make it a riches than something to correct. I don't know what to say.
How often did they occur on every site? Were there quite a few there, or was that more of
Yeah, the end of the song is really this kind of of the space we mentioned before. It's like we know where we are coming from. We know where we want to go, where we want to end, but between the two, we have to be focused on every members. Have to be focused on each members to be able to play with it, to play with them, and to improvise during this moment of what we call it's a chaos, but it's more like it's really important because it can change every night and in every venue, and if we have this kind of emotion that day, and it can be different than yesterday, and it's really important to leave the space for this, because it can also be kind of exhausting to repeat the same thing, the same every night and every time. So to have some little room and a little space for improvisation, it is something that sometimes really made the show for us, because the songs don't really change, but it's more like what we put into this song that change because of how we feel this day, and we try to be open to to these feelings, and open to the change it can create. So yeah, the every site is really important for this, and also for the singing, for the emotion of the of Martin who sings. It is really important that he feels that it is not obliged to get into the same emotion every night, and it could be it could be different. If he feels differently, he can interpret the songs differently. I don't know if even if the lyrics stay the same, it could be really different interpretations. So it's, yeah.
how if the emotion of that song, when he's performing it changes quite a lot from kind of performance to performance, although it's the same lyrics, like you say,
Yeah.
he can do something with it. How do you decide how you're going to tackle it on the record, in the recorded version? How do you know what emotion to kind of strike with it there if it's something that changes quite often?
Well, we don't. It's more like the day he recorded the lyrics and the singing, he was feeling what we hear on the records, and if he have done it the day before, it would have been really different, and the day after it would have been again really different, and there is no really repetition or preparation for a specific emotion on this record, at least because it can be something that will change in with the next with the new music we're working on. But it was for this album, and for every site, it was really he felt this way, and he recorded how he felt, and this is what we can hear on this song. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you're saying, he's waiting for a day to come when
Yeah.
the emotions kind of line up, and where he's at that present moment lines up with where he was
Yeah,
at in the song.
and sometimes this is why it's difficult, because sometimes there is no, I don't know, no emotion that is coming out, and sometimes we just have to wait and don't try to force it to. This is why the studio could be pressuring, because we have 10 days, 10 paid days, and we want it to be nice, and so we don't want to leave the space for, oh, today I'm not feeling this, or but we want to be really active, and sometimes it's more like we can't force it if the emotion is not here. We don't have to force it because there is a paid studio, or but also we have to be, I don't know to say, to be, yeah, to be not professional, because it's not the right term, but to be like to be able to be in the studio and to use it so wisely. I don't know how to say, but yeah, sometimes it's just like for every site we tried several several voices, and we kept this one because it was the one that had a more intensity, or the more honest intensity. I don't know how to say it. So this is what we we um, we keep.
There's a lot of pain in that vocal performance in that take.
Yeah, it was a time where they were kind of different pain and who tried to get out, and this is why music could be really important, is that it can be a place to let it out without maybe hurting ourselves or hurting every someone else, and it can be it's not only this, but you know it is important to explore this kind of emotion and to be able to share it, because I think it's human to feel pain or anxious anxiety or something like that, especially during this period. Even if the album is old, I think it is something that we are all allowed to feel and to express, and I guess music and the concert and is the place where it is okay to cry, or it is okay to to express those kind of emotion.
Do you remember when you discovered that music could be a safe space to do that?
Well, I know that my father and Arthur's father, because we are brother, is doing. He composed music for films. I don't have a specific time to of remembering this, but I know that it came really soon in the music, that it was a safe space for this emotion. And I know that when I first listened to Elliott Smith and Leonard Cohen, I had something like, okay, it is possible to put a lot of not really dark emotion, but more like uh, difficult emotion into the music, and it could be really safe space to just share this and not to be judged by feeling these emotions.
When it comes to actually putting things into the mix as well, I did want to ask about the mix for every site, because is everything in there an instrument? Because there were some songs I was listening to and I was trying to place, and I was trying to work out, have you put other things in there that aren't instruments, or?
No, there is. We really try to build a landscape of different sounds in the second verse. I don't know. There is a moment where there is no drum, and it's more like could be really influenced by Lynch sound design, and sometimes lately we discovered concrete music, and so we really try to make something with this. Instruments, but to use them as instruments. But on the record, it wasn't that. It wasn't this kind of experimentation.
Yeah, like you say, it really contributes to the kind of atmosphere, the cinematic atmosphere of it, just like putting all those
Yeah,
little
yeah, yeah.
things in there
That's
to
it.
build the world of the song.
Yeah, exactly.
You often compare, or it has been compared to, the record and that song in particular as well, being about the apocalypse or being about the end of the world, but it feels
Yes.
it feels much more like it's maybe about an internal apocalypse, a kind of
Yeah, yeah,
apocalypse of the soul.
yeah. It's kind of yeah. I really don't know what to say, because it's with what we are living right now, the word apocalypse could be strong, and I don't know. Yeah, it's more like an internal exploration, I would say. It's more like, and it's really about some difficult emotion. Well, for my interpretation of the record, it's really about this kind of emotions, and it's more about the emotion one human being could feel, than try to express about the world we're living in. So it's really not too about the apocalypse in the outside, but yeah, more what could we feel when and how could we feel in this internal exploration of emotion and difficult emotions.
Yeah. I mean, we think about the end of the world being
Yeah,
being this big, thing that impacts everyone, but for people in the world,
yeah,
things happen every day where the world ends.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree.
Where would you say then, with that in mind, where would you say you're bravest on this album as a band in terms of kind of personal expression?
They are very different. I mean, maybe for myself, the second part of minor division is the moment where there is kind of harmonic loop and distortion growing up, and this is something that really touches me, and really I am really happy to be able to experience it. I was able to experience it and try to explore how it made me feel. It was more like linked to something with time, and I mean, for the entire album I could have this sensation. It's the entire album is something I'm kind of right now. I don't know if I'll have the strength to build it again, but I'm really happy and kind of proud to have it done.
We were speaking about earlier as well that you're not afraid to make mistakes and you almost welcome them because they bring
Yeah.
that honesty with them. If you're not afraid to make mistakes, is fear still a part of the creative process? Is it still present in any way?
Well, of course, because fear is not because fear is really present, and for me, fear is really present since 2020 in different definition of fear. I don't know what to say. So even if it's not like I'm afraid to mistake in my performance, it's more like fear is an emotion I can totally feel and totally try to describe again, and it's every day it take a new form, and every day I try to welcome it, but it's we try to avoid the fear of mistake in the songs, but as an emotion, it's something that is still a part of us, and even if we build this album around kind of some difficult emotions, it's still something that we discovered in our quest.